For many years, games have tried to encompass the way of the samurai through different mediums and art forms, with the market having a metric ton of them now. Each one has its own style, systems, and gameplay that set it apart from the competition in the samurai space, and many of them are regarded as the definitive way to experience the way of the samurai. However, there is one in the sea of games that no one is talking about that's got me geeked up like a kid hitting the booth for the first time. First Cut is a game by a fella named Drasnus, aka Draz D's Nuts, under his dev company Night Eyes Interactive. And it perhaps is the simplest yet most challenging samurai game I have ever played. Warning, if you're one of those babies that likes to complain about pixel games, man, get the fuck out of here. Or relax, chill out, and have a cold brewski and enjoy this video. The premise of the game is simple. You're a samurai that kills people. Sometimes you kill people. A lot of times you get killed by people. That being said, that's all you really need to dive in. Upon boot, this game gives you two different options. Single player and multiplayer. Yep, I guess starting out, let's go into single player. Ooh, customization. Yeah, this game lets you customize your samurai to be pretty much whatever you want, except for the looks, which is kind of ironic. Man, the difference between well-fed and fucking haunted, yeah, it must have been really minuscule in the age of samurai, man. What the fuck? Aside from that, you can change just about anything on your little fellow over here, including what kind of sword he's using. You can choose a wooden one or a metal one or fucking blue one if you want to have a blue one. I just wish you could make a bad bitch. Sometimes a boy want to be a bad bitch. And a samurai. After you make a character, you're presented with 5 options. The first one is fight, which encompasses a few different game modes. The first one is duel, where you just have a classic one-on-one fight. Last man standing, which is just you on the casting couch, pretty much. My personal favorite, survival, which is where you can see how long you can last on the casting couch. And finally, ring out, a game mode where they shorten the sides of the stages so you can just fucking boop, and that's it. Next, we have the scenario campaign, which isn't much, and that actually might be a good thing, ironically. The campaign consists of 8 missions, with each mission having its own set of acts to do. These can best be described as like side-scroller beat-em-ups, where once you clear an area or an act of people, then you can move on to the next one. Most missions have 2 descriptions for them. One, when you're actually playing through the acts to get to the end of the mission, it kind of describes the setting, the story, and kind of what's going on. And then the second one describes the final act of that mission, as well as the boss you're going to be fighting. There doesn't really seem to be much in terms of an actual story, but kind of from what I've gathered, you seem to be a mercenary type of person who goes on missions to take out unfavorable people and anyone who tries to get in your way, aka literally everyone with a fucking sword. It's simple and basic, which I find pretty fitting for a game where the whole objective is just to kill dudes with swords. Finally, we have the tutorial, where we can finally go over the... Oh boy, the controls. I have never, ever played a game that has the simplest, realest meaning of easy to learn, hard to master. Because holy shit, is this game hard. And I'm talking like Hotline Miami levels of hard, dude. The controls are pretty straightforward. You use the analog stick or the D-pad to move around and change stances with your sword. You press X to swing, A plus up or down to directionally dodge, left trigger to turn around, right trigger plus forward or back to push or pull somebody. And that's pretty much the gist of it. That'll get you up and running in like 2 seconds. Speaking of stances, you got 3 of them. High, mid, and low. If you match stance with somebody, then you'll block the attack. And if you're lucky enough, maybe you pull off a little parry or 2. Boogaloo. There's even a charge attack that doubles as a back guard, but you still have to match stance to block the attack. After a while, you can start trying out more advanced tech like the shove dash, something that I've coined, where you can cancel your shove and do a dash to get extra momentum. Other than that, you have a funny little taunt button mapped to your right bumper that gives you various actions like pointing, standing still for some reason, or sheathing your sword. When you first start learning, your hands are going to feel like spaghetti noodles, which is totally normal. But after a while, when you play around for a few hours and you get used to it, you start making moves and slicing people down. Aside from the usual sword fighting, this game actually has some pretty interesting mechanics. And the sick thing is, you just kind of find the shit out naturally. Slicing down on your enemy actually drenches your sword in blood, which you can actually use to flick off into enemies' faces, which sometimes gets put in the little bitty eyes, aww. And then it can blind them and leave them vulnerable for a strike. In this scenario campaign with a campfire, you can actually flick the fire onto enemies, setting them on fire immediately. This scared me when I found it. Something even more impressive I happened to notice was when I was playing survival mode and I was fighting the dojo enemies. If you actually strike one down before he can draw his sword, then everyone else will just come out swinging with their swords, trying to run hands. But if you kill him after he draws his sword, the next few guys will actually come out with their swords still sheathed before they just start swinging on you. It's a really cool little detail. There's a lot of really cool small things that you can just kind of find in the game mechanics-wise, and I think for that alone, it's kind of worth picking up. I mean, it's only like, what, $10, so. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that this game is Hotline Miami levels of hard, but I think I really need to break down what I really mean, you know what I mean? First, I'm going to go over the types of enemies you will encounter coming up. Keep in mind, this is only like the behaviors in terms of how the NPCs will interact with you, not necessarily the different types of actual enemies like ninjas or bandits. I'd like to actually leave a little bit of mystery so that way you guys can go and actually check it out for yourselves. Almost every enemy you're going to fight is going to be wielding a blade, with each enemy having its own unique behavior and difficulty. The behaviors include standard, defensive, aggressive, infighter, charger, cautious, and mixed. Each one will have a different way to approach you and try to strike you down, like defensive enemies keeping their distance and only striking kind of whenever you make a move, or aggressive enemies literally being up your ass the entire time. This does help keep players on their toes and keep things a little fresh, albeit it can be a little frustrating at times because later on, when you start dealing with more difficult enemies, you kind of have to learn specific ways to deal with these guys. If you ever do get frustrated or stuck with this game, I do encourage a visit to the Steam community page, because on there's a guide that breaks down how to deal with each different type of enemy, and it's super helpful, I promise. Gotta read a little bit. Use your eyes, dude. Use these little dudes. Use these little guys right here. In terms of the story mode difficulties, there's a bunch, but for the sake of simplicity, let's just say everything below normal is peaches and cream, and everything above normal makes me want to commit Sudoku. Enemies do get to the point later on where they literally just input read you, so you have to bait them, but trust me, you can do it. It is possible. It just takes a little bit of learning and a little bit of trying. I really urge you to play this game only if you don't get tilted like some towers that I know, because this game will try your patience to the absolute maximum. I did beat the game on normal mode though, and I can at least say that. Now, as I've said before, this is a pixel game, but that does not stop it from being absolutely beautiful. From stages where the sun is setting, hiding you and your enemies in a veil of darkness, to levels where you're in a cave with waist-high water, and when you slaughter people, their blood just fills up the fucking water like a goddamn samurai movie. This game is beautiful. Each stage has so much attention to detail and matches the setting so well that I feel like I'm almost in my own Samurai Champloo or Afro Samurai-esque world. But the crazy thing is, this game just kind of treats you like a normal samurai, just like a normal dude that just so happened to kind of outsmart big baddies. It's really cool. It's honestly kind of nice to just chill on the waterfall stage and just have a waterfall going in the back while there's a guy that's dead over there with blood-stained grass, and I'm just sitting there vibing out, man. It's kind of great. Dare I say it's peaceful. It's clear our pal Drasnus here was pretty passionate about the project that he was working on, because it's very rare to find such beauty in such a small package. I mean, just check out how the waterfall in this level distorts the people that pass through it. This kind of detail makes the game feel grounded in realism, despite it being a pixel game. Some stages even have variation to them, like the plain stage actually changing from a snowy field to a rainy one. Some other details to really think about that are pretty cool are like when you slice down enemies and how gory it kind of comes out to be. It gives a satisfying feeling to cut down these guys and only to flick the blood off your blade and sheath it like a fucking weeb. It's great. Game's great. I love it. Love it. The music in this game isn't much, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it serves its purpose quite well. It's got this nice ambient vibe that makes me feel like I'm on a mission with tactical espionage action. But it fits the vibe and never feels like it's in the way too much. You can also do what I highly recommend and honestly just turn the music off and turn on some Nujabes or some boom bap and just kind of go to town on these dudes. Makes me feel really good. Got the shampoo vibes going on. Got the samurai shampoo vibes. Man, do I love when a game adds extra shit that makes the game wacky. First Cut has an extras mode that actually changes pretty much whatever you want in the game when it comes to the characters themselves. You can do custom blood, you can make the movement custom, you can make the slashes and shit custom, make your opponent bleed out after getting hit so that way they actually have a chance to hit you before they die, or even making the wooden sword have a bonk sound whenever you hit somebody with it. It's perfect. Absolutely beautiful. I think the general consensus as to what is the coolest thing, according to the boys, is the laser swords. Because not only are they just straight up fucking lightsabers, but when you attack and kill somebody, it cauterizes the wound immediately, just like a real lightsaber. Isn't that freaking cool, dude? Tired of using swords? Just be a fucking zombie and bite somebody instead. Then rip a fat fucking guitar solo like this guy right here. Damn, he's killing it, dude. But wait, there's more. The best part about it is you can use the extras in every mode in the game. The only downside is that score gets disabled for certain ones, which is perfectly understandable because you can end up doing shit like this and kind of being just like Ultra Instinct Goku. The extras are just perfect for a drink sesh with the boys. And you just could take turns cutting each other down. Speaking of drink sessions with the boys, the multiplayer in this game is both this game's strongest and weakest point. It's so much fun just going round after round with the homies, pause, in this game because it just sucks you in. Quite literally the rawest form of running hands besides running actual hands. I could even see this game actually getting a good competitive scene if it caught on because I just enjoy it that much. And the best part about all of it is, just like the extras, you can play multiplayer in every game mode in the game, which is fucking cool. But with every good, there's a little bit of bad, a little bit of poo-poo in the pee-pee, if you will. Yes, there's multiplayer. Yes, it's fun, but it's local only. Yep, I genuinely believe that this is the biggest thing holding this game back because I'm just itching to hop into a casual or ranked matchmaking lobby, but you can't. It's cool and all that this game at least has local, like that is nice, and I'm not gonna take that for granted. But at the same time, it does just kind of bring the game down a bit in an age where we're living online constantly. That being said, though, there are workarounds to do if you want to play with just your friends or something. How me and my boys do it is we use Parsec, just remote into one of our computers and just link it up via like a virtual Xbox controller. And there you go. You can just play online First Cut. It works totally fine, too. I have little to no latency because I have pretty decent internet. It works, we have fun, and we go our separate ways and never see each other again. That's cool and all, but I still don't think that is enough for the average player to be drawn into a game like this, unfortunately. Hopefully Drasnus will come back and actually work on this project and implement online multiplayer eventually, but if not, I get it. I'm just glad that I actually got to experience a game like this. It's pretty dope. This game gripped me way harder than I thought it would when I stumbled upon it on the Steam store, and I don't regret playing it at all. The difficulty can be a turnoff for some people, and I totally get why, because it does definitely start to slip into that fucking bullshit territory of things. And there definitely were times where I was uttering to myself, I am not having fun anymore. I wish to stop playing this game. This game is fucking terrible. I do not want to play this anymore, please. Oh my god. But I did push through and finish it, so kind of a flex. I will say the game is worth it for the local multiplayer alone if you got the friends to play with, because the peaks of fun with this game were when I was with my friends playing through the story mode or playing through survival mode, just fucking up samurai. And if you're into score chasing, the game does have that too if numbers are more your thing. It's very clear that our boy Drasnus put a lot of work into this, and I just want more people to support this kind of project because it'd be cool to see this guy make something else. Clearly he's got the talent for it. Love to see what's going on in that man's creative mind. Maybe gaining some attention for the game will encourage him to either come back and add multiplayer or just keep making games in general, because that's fucking awesome at the end of the day. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to go strike down some samurai and just blow off some steam. I'm Sam Yost, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Based in your perspective, quite simply, with the same and without, know what I'm saying? Listen, son, I ain't better, y'all. I just think, my fam run things. stimulate positive thought patterns when the chosen start gathering. We bar none. Yo, I got jokes. You are one. I'm out doing it. Why you talk about it? I'm constantly in the mix while you walk around it. You try, I do. But why's you clueless? I get the job done. You fella make excuses.
And here's a section that Sammy won't know about. It's called the Jays After Dark corner. In Last Cut, you can have sex like a boss.